Hello everyone, my name is Jessica Oleskie and I'm here with Team MVP and I want to show you guys what's in my bag. To start with my discs, I would like my putting putters. I choose to putt with firm electron atoms. I do have cosmic and as well as just firm electron, especially with the humidity nowadays, it can be a big difference. I love the honestly low profile. I think they feel great in the hand, a little bit of stability enough to fight even in the wind. Moving on to my throwing putters. You can tell that MVP is good with their putters. To start, this is the lowest speed in my bag. It is the Pilot. I actually have it in a neutron plastic and as well as a firm electron plastic as well. This is a utility disc for me. I choose to use this as my off the tee throwing putter for approximately 200 feet and in. It has a really slow fade for me, good consistent glide. For my firm electron, I love to use this for approach shots, kind of like my hybrid step putt that I do. I think it gives enough bite where I'm able to put enough spin on it. Moving on to my most stable putter, I love the Streamline Stabilizer. This I love to use for forehands, especially for approach shots, but for anything that needs that big hyzer, I usually use this honestly for 75 feet to 150. I absolutely love the stability. It is consistent for me. Moving on to the PROXY. The PROXY is one of the newer putters in my bag. I absolutely love that it's so effortless. I needed more of a straight flying putter. For me, the putters have so much glide that it's more limited need for a mid-range in those situations that you need controllable like fair distance. So about 200 feet, 220, I would be throwing my PROXY. I like the firm electron as well. It's just the feel for me. Going on to the best putter out there, this is the MV. As you're aware, it's so good. I use this for backhand and forehand. Forehand, probably the best disc I've ever thrown. It gives enough bite, has glide for days. This is probably my farthest throwing putter ever. I highly recommend it. Next on to my mid-ranges. I bag 4 mid-ranges. My most understable mid-range is actually my Plasma Theory. I understand this is out of production, but it is my baby. The minute that she gets a little bit too seasoned, I will be going to the new Uplink. It is identical with a little bit more glide. My Theory I choose to use as probably my #1 utility disc. For this, I use it for, honestly, step putts that I don't want to put too much effort on. Anything that I need a little bit more glide, I use it for forehand ante shots. Honestly, it saves me multiple times during a round. My next mid-range is the Hex. The Axiom Hex to me is a straight flying mid. It will not come have bite back. It just will go straight for me. And I think it is great for forehand and as well as backhand. Then I have my MVP Reactor. This has a little bit more bite than the Hex. So to me, it's a little bit more stable, great for anything regarding forehand and backhand again, but I can utilize this in the wind. I actually do also bag a Glow Reactor that kind of comes in and out depending on the wind as well. Now for my most stable mid-range in the bag is the PYRO. I cannot talk any more positive things about the PYRO. It is a beefy mid-range. I use this for anything for approaches or longer flying than my stabilizer. Highly recommend this again. Now on to my fairway drivers. For my first is my most understable fairway driver. It was recommended by Sarah Holcomb. It is the Relay. This is a great hyzer flip machine. In the woods, you hyzer flip it to straight, put enough ante on it or put enough power on it, and it does have an ante finish. I also like to forehand this disc as it does have a great consistent flight, but also fades to the left. With that being said, going on to my neutral fairway drivers are my CRAVEs. I do bag the new Fission CRAVE. I love Fission plastic. This is the new Amanda Milwicki stamp. And then I do bag a Neutron CRAVE that's actually a little bit lighter. I love to hyzer flip them. My Neutron Crave goes a little bit straighter than my Fission Crave. My Fission Crave is actually a 165 to 168. Honestly, these are probably one of my most dependable flights, and I utilize it in the open and in the wind. And in the woods. Moving on to my more stable fairway drivers, I love the Volt. I do bag it as well in Fission plastic and as well as in Neutron plastic. For these, my Fission is about a 171 and my Neutron is about a 169. I actually prefer to take my husband's beat-in Neutron Volts. I love a seasoned Volt. My more stability is my Fission. My Fission is beefy, but I don't need to put as much effort onto it, and it has very consistent fade. I like to use these in the open for hyzers and as well as for a straight to stable flight. I love to use my Fission Volt for forehand. I think this is one of my most consistent forehand discs. Moving on to my distance drivers. The two that are utility are actually my Virus. This one I love for hyzer flips, but also for my big Annies. If there's any type of wind at all, it just holds. And I get about, I should say, like 320 easily, glide for days. I absolutely love to use my Virus for forehand as well. As for me, Annie is out and it just holds a little bit longer than how my relay would. The next is the Streamline Lift. This one comes in and out the bag depending on the course. It's a lot like the Virus for me, but it has more fade. So just depending on the shots that I really need for the day. The next up in my distance drivers is my Inertia. I do prefer the Neutron plastic. This is my J-Saw, the newer stamp for J-Saw, and I choose to do a 170 for my Inertias. This I like to use for the open courses, for the wooded courses. It is a flip up straight to hyzer. I really don't notice an inertia flipping. For me, it's probably one of my more longer distance drivers. I really cannot say anything more about this besides the fact that it is so consistent and it's good. The next is my Jet. This is one of the newer molds in my bag. The Jet has the most turn of a disc that I have met. It is a hyzer flip machine, again, can turn until you expect it to not come back, and then it has this bite of fade that is just gorgeous. So for this, I like to use it for kind of shape-shifting lines in the woods or anything that I need to have for a higher Annie that you need to have that fade back. My most stable distance driver in my bag is the Wrath. This is a go-to for me for anything that I need skip shots for backhand or forehand, or anything for approaches that I need that stability for a forehand, especially in the winds. It's super consistent. Again, into the Neutron, you can see that the Neutron and the Fission plastics are kind of my go-tos. For my Wrath though, I actually use a 157. I noticed that I really like with MVP is that for the stable molds, a lower weight doesn't affect the flight of the disc, but it does get it up to speed faster. So I don't have to kind of hurt my body enough to get that full flight of this disc. Moving on to the next most stable, beautiful disc are my Fission Photons. Yes, this 11 speed is beefy, but it's perfect for me. The Fission is just a gorgeous plastic that you have to throw it at like a 60% effort, and it just bombs 350. Like, it's just easy. You can capitalize on a hyzer. You can get a good S shape. Newer, I've been throwing it forehand now that I have a little bit more power. The Elaine King is definitely beefier. This one has been in my bag for about 4 years, so she's a little beat in, which is why I choose to bag both. And I saved the best for last, the MVP Waves. I just love them so much. So I actually usually bag about 4 to 5, depending on the course. Right here, I have my 2 Fissions. I actually have a lightweight Fission, a 154. This is for hyzer flip with tailwind or any type of headwind. I use it for a roller. This one is a max weight Fission. This is my Stacy Haas. Best disc in my bag, best disc ever made. Honestly, it's really what got me into gyro. And if I could only throw one disc, it would be this. And then I have my 167 Neutron Wave. The other disc that kind of comes in and out is my Glow Wave. This one is stable. So depending on the wind, depending on honestly if we were later tea times, it definitely is one that is a differential but utility disc as well. I could probably bag more, but it is. That's all that I have in my bag for now. A couple of the molds that I think are important too that just came out, like the Ascend is kind of getting worked its way in. It's similar to the CRAVE, and I love my baby CRAVEs, so I just gotta see where it fits. The Glow Inertia is another great one. A little bit more stability, like I have the one in my bag. The Glow Reactor, like I stated. So I think MVP has such a diverse amount of plastic, I kind of like to utilize them when the course fits it best. But these are the babies that are in my bag currently. Again, my name is Jessica Oleskie, and you guys got to see what was in my bag. Feel free to reach out at any point in time to ask. I love discussing discs, and I just want to say thanks for watching.